Okay, I'm ready for that.
This is a quick one.
And an amendment to adjourn to be done.
Is this on the first meeting of the year? Or is that good evening. I'd like to call the meeting of the Committee of Faculty, Staff, and Administration to, and our first action item. I'd like to welcome everybody here. And first of all, I'd like to welcome Joshua Hoffman, our new student representative. Welcome to the committee. And could you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Joshua Hoffman. I'm a senior at Brooklyn College, major in political science, and I'm very happy to be on this committee.
Well, wonderful. Thank you very much. Anybody else new? Nope, everybody else has been here. So we will move forward with the first action item, approval of the minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. As you know, we have a revised agenda today with one new item under the policy calendar and two additional appointments under the Chancellor's University report. These are highlighted on your agenda. Also, please note that item 1B3 has been strucken down, and it will be brought back for our consideration at a later date. Now we will move to the approval of the minutes of September 8th, 2014. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you very much. We will now move to the policy calendar, and I will call on Vice Chancellor Ginger Waters, who will present items 1B1 and 1B2, two amendments to the bylaws.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 1B1 is an amendment to Section 6.1 of the bylaws. The City College of New York has applied for accreditation of an MD granting program, which, if approved by the Liaison Committee on Medical Education, will be offered starting in August 2016. LCME accreditation standards require medical student learning experiences at hospitals to be supervised by physicians who are members of the educational institution's faculty. In order for CUNY to meet the LCME requirement that clinical medical supervisors have CUNY appointments, the university is creating a new title series, Affiliated Medical Professor, and it's adding these titles to Section 6.1 of the bylaws. As is the practice at many medical schools, the clinical medical faculty in CCNY's MD program will be employed by the hospital and not by the college. Therefore, individuals in the affiliated medical professor titles will not receive compensation from or have employment status with the university. Madam Chair, I present item 1B1 for the committee's approval.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? Second. It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Item 1B2 is an amendment to Section 9.1F of the bylaws. Our next bylaw amendment pertains to Section 9.1F, which relates to the personnel and budget process at the Hunter College Elementary School and the Hunter College High School. The language is being changed to make explicit what is already in practice at those schools, which is that only instructional staff members who are tenured or will have tenure by the time of service may be elected to and serve on the personnel and budget committees at the Hunter campus schools. This is consistent with existing bylaw requirements for departmental personnel and budget committees at the colleges. Madam Chair, I present item 1B2 for the committee's approval.
I'll move that. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? The motion carries. Thank you very much. I will now ask Senior Vice Chancellor Rick Schaefer to present items 1B4 regarding amendments to the university's policy on equal opportunity and non-discrimination.
Thank you. As I will discuss in more detail in a moment on an information item, the university is amending its policies relating to sexual harassment and sexual violence in a number of ways. And the first of those ways was to bring together in a single policy all of the provisions relating to these subjects. Previously, the policy regarding sexual harassment was part of the policy on equal opportunity and non-discrimination, and then there was a separate policy on sexual assault. We are going to bring together, and the Committee on Student Affairs just a little while ago approved a new policy that brings those subject matters together into a single policy, and therefore the action item for this committee is simply to approve the removal of the provisions relating to sexual harassment from the current policy on equal opportunity and non-discrimination.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval? May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Thank you very much.
One quick question. There's no way these two motions could get untracked so that we lose one before we get the other.
It's very much on my tickler list that if such a thing happened, we would pull all of them. Yeah, we're not going to do half and not the other half. This is not the climate in which to not have a sexual harassment policy.
Yes. Versus which climate?
Towards that end, I assume that the report is given in the Student Affairs Committee, or is it done here?
Well, it was voted on as an action item in Student Affairs because it related to another Student Affairs issue, and they were both voted on there. But in a little while, I will give an information report on and giving you more of the detail on the new policy on sex-based harassment and sexual violence.
Okay, thank you. I will call on President Farley Herzig. President Herzig, welcome. Please be seated. Please join us to present items 1B5, naming of the tennis facility at Kingsborough Community College. I note that this is your first appearance before our committee, and we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the university.
Members of the board, chancellor staff, and presidents and guests, resolve that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the naming of the Dr. Rochelle and Barry Goldsmith Tennis Facility located on the campus of Kingsborough Community College, and authorize the General Counsel of the City University of New York to execute documents on behalf of CUNY relating to this naming opportunity. Dr. Rochelle Goldsmith and her husband Barry are longtime employees of the college, and Dr. Goldsmith is currently the director of the college's honors program and previously served as the director of Kingsborough Community College College Now program. Mr. Goldsmith has been the coach of the college's men's tennis team for more than 30 years and of its women's tennis team for approximately 8 years. He led the women's tennis team to a national championship in 2009, and under his leadership, the women's and men's tennis teams together have produced more than 50 All-Americans. Additionally, the Goldsmiths are founding members of the Kingsborough Community College Beacon Society, as they have made a bequest intention to support the college, and that bequest, we understand, is $25,000 as well. The Goldsmiths have paid $25,000 to the Kingsborough Community College Foundation. The earnings generated by this donation will be used towards the Kingsborough Community College Athletics Wave Fund, an existing fund established to help Kingsborough student athletes better navigate their collegiate experiences. In recognition of the Goldsmith's generosity and contributions to the college community, the college requests that the college's tennis facility, comprised of 4 tennis courts located on the campus of Kingsborough Community College, be named the Dr. Rochelle and Barry Goldsmith Tennis Facility.
Thank you. I will move that. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries, and congratulations.
Thank you.
We now have another naming resolution, this one at Brooklyn College. President Gould, will you please join us?
My pleasure. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am very pleased to be here, and I will read the resolution, and then I will just speak briefly to the explanation. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York approve the naming of the theater at Brooklyn College, previously known as the Whitman Theater, to be the Claire Tao Theater, which will be part of the previously named Leonard and Claire Tao Center for the Performing Arts. Just as a reminder for those of you who don't remember, we're in the process of building the Leonard and Claire Tao Center for the Performing Arts, which stands on the site, the foundation of the old Gershwin Theater. It is coming up out of the ground, soon to have a roof, we hope, by the end of the month. And inside the Center for the Performing Arts, we have a small theater named now for Don Buchwald, one of our trustees who gave over $2 million to this project. But Leonard and Claire Tao gave $10 million as a matching fund, as explained in our paragraphs below, to challenge other trustees at Brooklyn College to match. And in fact, we raised $15 million in addition to their 10 to pay for part of this rather glorious building that will soon be open in the fall of 2015, late. So we want to acknowledge the tremendous generosity of both Leonard and Claire Tao and the Tao Foundation, and particularly in memory of Claire Tao, because she did just finally pass away this past year after a very debilitating bout with ALS for many, many years. And I can tell you that the smile on Leonard Tao's face when I said, Len, let's call it the Claire Tao Theater, he just was extremely happy, because nothing brought them closer together in their final years than when she could going to the theater together. And it means a lot to Len, it means a lot to the Tao Family Foundation, and as you know, the Taos have been tremendously generous to CUNY as well as to Brooklyn College, both the School of Journalism and I think in other places as well. And the Tao Foundation and Len Tao in particular continue to play a very vital role annually at the college in terms of Tao professorships, 4 to 6 professorships every year of $25,000 each, as well as study abroad stipends for both our faculty and our students. So this is a family and a foundation that is devoted to the college. They were our strongest donors together, and I think it is a very fitting way to acknowledge Claire Tao and the memory that she represents for the college as well as the family.
I concur, so I will move that. May I have a second? Second. It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion carries. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This completes our policy calendar. We will now move on to the Chancellor's University report items. And I will call President Fernandez, please share the appointment of a new Vice President and Associate Provost at Lehman College.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to recommend the appointment of Renee Sarmiento as Vice President of Enrollment Management and Associate Provost at Lehman College. In her career in higher education, which spans over 2.5 decades, Ms. Sarmiento has worked and run various offices that are key to the function of enrollment management. She has been a registrar, Director of Financial Aid, Student Services, Director of Admissions, Financial Aid, and she currently is the Chief Enrollment Officer at LaGuardia Community College. She has worked in a number of institutions on the West Coast. She's also a graduate of one of our institutions. She has a master's in urban affairs from Hunter College, and she currently is a doctoral student pursuing a degree in higher education at Fordham University. So I think she's very well qualified to do the work that she will be asked to do at Lehman, and we're very pleased to have someone who already knows the ins and outs of a community college to work in a senior college, because a lot of our enrollment really depends on articulation with community colleges. So this is a particularly felicitous appointment, I think, for Lehman College.
I agree. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstention? The motion carries. Welcome. And thank you for becoming part of the university. Would you like to address the committee?
Only my thanks to Gail Mello for taking the opportunity to hire me 10 years ago, and President Fernandez to be able to continue my work within City University.
So I stand corrected. When I said welcome to the university, I should have said welcome to your
You can welcome me
continued, to
again.
Lehman College and to your continued service to the university. Thank you very much and congratulations.
May I add also my appreciation to President Mello, who was most gracious in allowing this appointment to
Allowing, I'm sure. Well, thank you very much for your continued service. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move to the Chancellor University report. I will now call on Kenneth Norris from the Office of Academic Affairs to present items 1C2, appointment of a full-time faculty member at City College that requires a bylaw waiver.
Dr. Wang earned his PhD in geochemistry from the California Institute of Technology and then held a postdoc at the Woodhull Oceanographic Institute for 2 years prior to joining Yale, where he brought $2.6 million in government research grants. City College believes that it is in their best interest at this time to offer Dr. Wang immediate tenure, even though he has not held tenure at a previous institution.
Okay. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstention, the motion carries. Thank you very much. President Herzog, will you join us and introduce the appointment of an interim vice president for finance and administration?
Thank you. Members of the board, I'd like to recommend to you Mr. Bill Corrente. Bill is a CUNY success story. He graduated from Kingsborough in 1975. He took a bit of a wrong turn and went to St. John's for some reason, and he graduated St. John's with his degree in accounting in 1981. Bill was a student leader on campus, and he was a member of the Kingsborough College Association Board of Directors. In April of 1979, Bill was appointed Budget Director of Kingsborough Community College, and since that appointment, he has held various positions such as Assistant Business Manager, Assistant Administrator and Internal Control Officer, Acting Business Manager, Executive Director of Budget and Planning, and most recently, Executive Director of Finance. He was also an adjunct lecturer of accounting in the Department of Business from 1981 to 1987. Bill also serves, and he has served for the past 10 years, as the treasurer for the Kingsborough Community College Foundation and the KCC Auxiliary Enterprise Corporation.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? It's been moved in second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, the motion carries. Thank you for your continued service to the university. Would you like to address the committee?
Yes, thank you. I would like to thank the committee for consideration of the appointment, President Herzog, and mostly the senior administrative staff at Kingsborough for their confidence that I can help the college along over the next 6 to 8 months while we do a search for a new vice president.
Thank you very much for your continued service.
Thank you.
We will now call on President David Gomez to join us to introduce item 1C4, appointment of an interim vice president and provost at Hostos Community College. Very good.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As noted in the resolution, Dr. Christine Mangino has a long and distinguished record as an educator, ranging from elementary education to the doctoral level. Her research in the area of pedagogy and her leadership as a department chair and dean have earned her the respect of all of her colleagues. This experience has informed her work with collaborative programs and has done much not only to advance the work with our students in the Department of Education, but to guide professional development at the college. I believe that Dr. Mangino would be a wonderful candidate for the position of Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, and respectfully request that this board approve her appointment.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second? It's been moved and second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you for your continued service to the university and to the college. Now, would you like to address the committee?
Thank you very much for your vote of confidence. I really look forward to continuing the work of our division. I've been at the college for the last 10 years, and this is where my heart is with the college and with our students and the work that we've been doing. So thank you.
Thank you for your service. All right. So we will now move to our informational items. And Vice Chancellor Schaefer, you're on.
Yes, so continuing what we were talking about before, the sexual harassment provisions of the Equal Employment and Non-Discrimination Policy are now located in a new policy which combines also the prior provisions relating to sexual assault, but it also is a clarified and restated policy. It strengthens many of the provisions, particularly with respect to training and education and services to those who have been the victims of sexual harassment or sexual assault, and in other ways brings us into complete compliance with some recent changes in federal law and regulations, as well as federal guidance. Perhaps most notably, the new policy contains a definition of consent, which is required by federal law. That is, that there be a clear definition of consent. The federal government doesn't mandate the particular definition. We have adopted a modified form of a definition that's often referred to as affirmative consent. We note that has been in the works for a while, and that Governor Cuomo and the board of CUNY have recently adopted a similar definition for the SUNY system. We have been working very closely with the governor's staff and with SUNY in an effort to see that our policies were more or less in the same direction, and they are. And we're continuing to discuss and may, in some minor ways, revise our policy between now and the board meeting. SUNY, which was, I think, a little bit behind us in terms of the development of their policy, is also moving to adopt a new policy the first week in December, and we will bring it to the board at our meeting on December 1st.
Thank you. So any questions, comments? There being none, I'd like to ask Vice Chancellor Waters for her report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are just a few things that I wanted to update the board on with regard to some of the work that's going on in our Office of Recruitment and Diversity. Last September, members from Dean Rubain and her deputy, Mary Ann McKenzie, led a session at the CUPA HR National Conference on Diversity Programming to cultivate a culture of faculty engagement. The session was so highly rated that CUPA has asked that we turn it into a webinar so that it can be shared with other colleges and universities across the country. Also, last week, Kingsborough had a diversity symposium, creating safe spaces in a diverse environment, and Dean Rubain spoke there about CUNY's efforts over the past 4 years to engage faculty around the issues of recruitment, retention, and climate. Again, it was very well received. And then I wanted to let you know that on Friday, March 20th, 2015, at the Grad Center, we will be holding a diversity conference. This will be our second in 4 years. There is a plenary session on a panel on women in leadership, empowering the next generation in higher education. Chancellor Nancy Cantor from Rutgers Newark will be there. President Chase Robinson has agreed to be a panelist, and we are looking for other panelists to be a part of that session. And then I wanted to take this opportunity
What are those dates? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's March 20th, 2015. I wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate our chair and our vice chair, who's not here tonight, on the outstanding panel they held at CUNY's Women's Leadership Conference last Friday. The topic was Finding Your Passion. We were able to speak with students about being successful in the world of work and some of the tips and tricks that one can engage in order to be successful in that environment. So thank you, Madam Chair. That is my report. Do you want to update the committee on the pension advisory services?
Just a brief moment. I would ask Professor Martell to join in if I leave anything out, but we have been meeting on a monthly basis to discuss the pension and retirement funds, and we've come to a lot of interesting information. The good news is, as we reported the last time, we're in compliance, but we want to be better than compliant. And we are moving forward to establish a procedure and policies that will make us the leaders in an area that, frankly, I think universities have been somewhat dormant in reviewing. I think they have left it to individuals to look at this, and frankly, the providers to look at it. And we are now looking at pricing and making sure that we get the benefit of the large client that we are. We should not be paying the same thing that smaller systems are paying. And so we're very pleased with the progress, and I want to thank Professor Martell and the others of the committee and Vice Chancellor Waters' staff, who've just been doing an excellent job with that. Did I leave anything out, Professor Martell? With that, I have no additional, are there any other questions, concerns? There being none, may I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and second. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.